Questions are yours. I go to the Bible, God's holy word, to find answers. And thank you for the good questions we have again today. Question number 1. Which is the true Sabbath day and why? I keep getting this question repeatedly. Let me read from Exodus chapter 31, verse 16. The children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations for a perpetual covenant. It is a sign, notice, between me and the children of Israel forever. 2 things were the hallmarks of God's covenant with Abraham's posterity: circumcision and the Sabbath. And the Sabbath, of course, is still faithfully observed by Orthodox Jews. And Saturday is the 7th day, of course. Christians worship on Sunday to celebrate Christ's resurrection, and there is no New Testament commandment that I know of to observe Saturday. In fact, Acts chapter 15 lists the things that Gentile converts were to do, and there is no mention whatsoever of the Sabbath day. I have often wondered why Seventh-day churches today ignore circumcision but promote Sabbatarianism. And now question number 2. If hell is in the middle of the earth, where will it be in the new earth? Well, the idea that hell is in the middle of the earth comes from Matthew chapter 12, verse 40, which says that as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the whale, so Christ will be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. And some have assumed that hell is there in the heart of the earth and that Jesus was in hell during those 3 days. I believe that Matthew chapter 12, verse 40 has to be read in light of Luke chapter 23, verse 43, where Jesus talked to the thief, the converted thief on the cross, and said, "Today thou shalt be with me in paradise." Jesus was not in hell. He went to paradise with the converted thief. He completed the work of redemption on the cross. Where hell is, I do not know. I really don't know where, and intend ever to find out. I don't want to find out. Hell is certainly not going to be affected by the new earth and the new heavens. And now question number 3, is it God's Spirit or wild emotionalism that causes people to roar like lions? Well, I have heard of churches where people laugh like hyenas and roar like lions. Most church services, of course, could stand a lot more emotion than they have, but when I read 1 Corinthians 14, verse 32, I am told that the spirit of the prophets is subject to the prophets. That means that God will not force you to do any weird or wonderful thing against your will. On the day of Pentecost, the people all spoke in languages that they had never learned, but in my search of the Bible, I can find no evidence that God causes people to do any weird things, such as crawling around on the floor like snakes or roaring like lions. It must be that is emotionalism, and every church, of course, must find a balance somewhere between attention-getting and true worship. Thank you so much for these questions. I trust the answers have been helpful. If you have a question you'd like me to use on the Bible as the answer, please write it out, send it to me. I'll be pleased to hear from you, and I'll get to your question on the air just as quickly as I can. And when you write, all the address you need is simply Faith to Live By, Box 426, Winnipeg, Manitoba, and the code is R3C2H6. Heidi now. It's the month for Christmas, and so it's not too early for this. Down from His glory, Christ came into a world of woe.